Hi, this is Joseph Tan here from GoodMonday.com. What is the destructive four-letter word to you as an individual? Here is the word. It is self. S-E-L-F. Self. The self that I'm talking about here is not the self in terms of identity and self-worth, because as far as identity and self-worth is concerned, taking care of yourself is important. But I'm talking about desires, self-centered desires that cause things to go haywire. Let me explain. The tricky thing about self-centered desires is that there is a compulsion, and the compulsion comes with right intentions. People generally want to do what is right. The intentions is always right. However, the right intention becomes a self-centered compulsion when the means that is employed in meeting the intention is wrong. So we aim for right intentions but with the wrong means. Let me give a few examples. For example, we could have the right intention of looking for acceptance, but in the process of looking for acceptance, we are willing to compromise. We're willing to compromise our integrity. We're willing to compromise our standards in terms of the friendships that we have. So, although we have the right intention, we want to be accepted by everybody, we end up compromising our values. Or we could have the right intentions to love. We want to love people, we want to love life, but we end up pursuing materialism. We want to be able to love people by giving them things. So while our intentions is correct, we want to love, but we end up falling into the trap of materialism. Right intention, wrong means. Or we could be pursuing growth, but we end up being a workaholic, because what happens is that we pursue growth at all costs. We forget about the people around us. Growth becomes an all-consuming desire. It becomes a self-compulsion. Although it started off with the right intention, we employ the wrong means. Here is where self-leadership comes in. Self-leadership happens not when we get rid of self-compulsion, but we manage our self-compulsion by exercising self-control. Self-control is that layer of self-leadership that we apply to ourselves so that our compulsion do not get out of control, because a higher principle is in order to keep the self from breaking loose. In fact, self-control is the basis for one's personal character development. You cannot develop the character of a leader who is not exercising self-control. Now, exercising self-control through character development entails that we say the two magic letters. The two magic letters is no. Learning to say no. Firstly, we've got to learn to say no to short-term gains. Employing short-term gains with the right intention but with the wrong means, meaning that we are willing to compromise our integrity and our values, is just not worth it in the long run. Learn to say no to short-term gains. Secondly, learn to say no to shortcut methods. There is really no substitute for hard work. There is really no substitute for doing things right in the right way. If we are prone to employ shortcut methods, then our self-compulsion will take over and we are not exercising self-leadership as we ought. So avoid shortcut methods. Thirdly, learn to say no to short-sighted goals. Learn to set a vision and a purpose that is bigger than yourself. Don't set short-term and short-sighted goals that help you meet the numbers only in the short run. Learn to be a purpose-driven organization rather than just being driven by profits alone. Profit is too short-sighted. You need a bigger purpose to drive you. So exercising self-leadership is about rejecting self-gratification. Think about it. Leaders are those who are willing to abandon short-term gains, are willing to abandon wrong means in order to achieve the right long-term outcome. In order to do that, we must learn to reject self-gratification. Why do leaders reject self-gratification? Because they have their eye towards long-term satisfaction. Long-term satisfaction, things that are more significant, things that require us to exercise self-control, is so much more worth it than the short-term goal of just achieving right intentions but with the wrong means. Hence, you cannot evaluate someone's leadership just by his or her intentions, because the intentions could be right, but the means could be wrong. The deeper way to evaluate one's leadership is to take a look at his or her level of self-control, because that's the basis of character development. Is this person able to say no to short-term gains, to shortcut methods, to short-sighted goals? In other words, you need to be a leader that rejects self-gratification. Then you can overcome the destructive four-letter word called self. Because self right now is directed to achieve the right goals, the right aims, the right purpose with the right means. And this leads to long-term satisfaction. Think about it. This is Joseph Tan here from GoodMonday.com. If you're interested to find out more about my leadership development programs and services, check out the website GoodMonday.com. Or if you would like to find out more about my online coaching services, go to GoodMonday.com/coaching, and I have coaching services to meet a variety of leadership needs. Thanks for watching.